A season-ending record of 13-27, a coach ousted, and a locker room that felt more like a war zone than a team, you're fired.
The Chicago Sky have decided to fire Teresa Weatherspoon. In the words of Vince McMahon, you're fired!
If Vince McMahon's infamous words were ever uttered in real life, they would have perfectly summed up the Chicago Sky's decision to part ways with head coach Teresa Weatherspoon.
Other teams say I wish we drafted you.
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me.
The woman who was meant to be the architect of a new era instead presided over a season that unraveled like a cheap thread. Fans, analysts, and players alike were left wondering, how did it go so wrong? The announcement came as a shock to many. Some even called it an act of desperation.
The players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish you drafted.
And yet, it wasn't a hasty decision. By the time the Sky's final buzzer sounded, the damage had been done. A team that should have been building on their championship victory was instead disintegrating under the weight of infighting, poor leadership, and off-court distractions. Enter Angel Reese, a prodigious talent, a household name in women's basketball, and a polarizing figure. She declared with unflinching confidence that, in 20 years, people would look back and see her as one of the key figures in elevating women's basketball. And while her numbers spoke volumes, 168 points, 6 rebounds per game, her personality, on and off the court, was a ticking time bomb. Reese's off-court antics only intensified the spotlight.
Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out
Her social media posts, interviews, and brash demeanor turned heads and split opinions. Some fans adored her tenacity, viewing her as the face of a new era. Others saw her as the embodiment of everything wrong with a team that was supposed to be unified. The question on everyone's mind: was Angel Reese the savior the Sky needed, or the spark that ignited their downfall? Rumors of locker room division began circulating early in the season. Reese, despite her obvious talent, reportedly fostered an atmosphere of favoritism.
of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
Veteran players hinted at it during anonymous comments, noting how Weatherspoon seemed more interested in pleasing specific individuals rather than fostering an environment of unity. Players like Camila Cardoso, a promising star who showed flashes of greatness, found themselves fighting for minutes, their potential overshadowed by personal agendas. Then there was Kennedy Carter, the Sky's leading scorer from the previous season, a restricted free agent who seemed more invested in social media polls than game plans.
Mabry, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened
The
to...
discontent was palpable. Carter's social media post, "Y'all be coaches and GMs anyways," was a thinly veiled dig at the franchise's dysfunction. Fans were torn, some rallying behind Carter as the victim of a toxic culture, others criticizing her for airing the team's dirty laundry like it was an episode of Real Housewives WNBA edition.
the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to mess that? Oh,
Marina Marbury's departure mid-season was another red flag. Known for her sharpshooting and defensive prowess, Marbury had been a cornerstone of the Sky's game plan. Yet, when she left for the Connecticut Sun, she spoke of culture, a word that for Sky fans had become synonymous with failure. Marbury's comments about the Sun's more professional environment spoke volumes. Was the Sky's locker room so toxic that even veteran players couldn't endure it? The departure of Weatherspoon left a leadership vacuum.
did the press conference. He talked about Angel Reese. He talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star.
Once hailed as the savior of the franchise, she had failed to steady the ship. Reports from exit interviews painted a grim picture. Veterans were disillusioned with her leadership, and younger players felt lost without clear direction. It was a season marked by poor on-court discipline, poor communication, and, ultimately, fractured trust.
In the WNBA, but he did not really mention Kennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of...
Even Tyler Marsh, the man tasked with picking up the pieces, found himself navigating an unstable environment. His press conferences became the stage for speculation, especially when he praised Reese and Cardoso, but barely mentioned Carter. Was this a sign that the team's priorities were misaligned? Or was it a calculated move, leaving the door open for Carter's departure?
Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball."
The Chicago Sky's journey has become a cautionary tale for teams across the WNBA. Once celebrated as league champions in 2021, they are now a stark reminder of the perils of poor leadership, fractured team culture, and unchecked egos. This team's unraveling has been both dramatic and disheartening.
Basketball is not just because of one person. She refuses to say Caitlyn Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to...
A lesson in how not to build and sustain success. At the center of the chaos lies Angel Reese, a polarizing figure whose immense talent is overshadowed by her controversial behavior on and off the court. Initially hailed as a game changer for the franchise, Reese's arrival coincided with the Sky's descent into dysfunction. Her on-court brilliance, averaging 168 points and 6 rebounds per game, was undeniable, but her off-court antics and alleged role in fostering locker room discord raised serious questions about her fit within the team. Reese's tenure in Chicago became emblematic of the larger issues plaguing the Sky. Leadership under head coach Teresa Weatherspoon failed to provide the stability and direction needed to harness the team's potential.
The Chicago Sky franchise has been an absolute dumpster fire since winning the WNBA championship in 2021. Let's go.
Weatherspoon's inability to manage egos and foster a cohesive culture led to her swift departure after just one season. Reports of favoritism and mismanagement surfaced, painting a grim picture of a team in freefall. Key players, including Kennedy Carter and Marina Mabrey, openly voiced frustrations, with Carter's social media posts hinting at deeper issues within the organization. Mabrey's mid-season departure, citing cultural issues, was a particularly significant blow. Known for her shooting and defensive prowess, Mabrey's exit highlighted the toxic environment that had taken root in Chicago. Candace Parker, the team's former superstar, had already left for greener pastures in Las Vegas.
Go through some of the names that have left. James Wade, who was the coach and GM, left in the middle of the season last year to go to the NBA.
Signaling the beginning of the Sky's decline. By the end of the 2023 season, the Sky's locker room was a battlefield. Their record a dismal 13-27, and their fan base left disillusioned. Despite the turmoil, there remains a glimmer of hope. New head coach Tyler Marsh has stepped into the fray with a vision of rebuilding the team from the ground up. In his inaugural press conference, Marsh emphasized the need for discipline, teamwork, and a culture reset. However, his vague comments about Carter's future with the team, a key player who averaged 5 points per game last season, left many questioning whether the Sky can truly turn the page.
Emma Messman, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, Aaliyah Copper was traded, Azura Stevens.
With Carter entering free agency, her decision could have significant implications for the team's trajectory. In stark contrast to the Sky's struggles, the Indiana Fever have emerged as a beacon of unity and effective leadership. Under President Kelly Koval, General Manager Amber Cox, and head coach Stephanie White, the Fever have undergone a remarkable transformation. Their success is not just the result of Caitlyn Clark's historic rookie season.
And then this year, after drafting Cardozo and Reese, they were competing for a playoff spot and traded Marina Mabrey, their veteran, before the Olympic.
But a testament to the power of a well-built team culture. The Fever's rise serves as a blueprint for what the Sky could aim to achieve. By prioritizing transparency, discipline, and collaboration, the Fever have fostered an environment where every player feels empowered and valued. Clark's leadership, both on and off the court, has been instrumental in elevating the team.
New Sky coach Tyler Marsh was asked about whether he sees Kennedy Carter in the big part of what he's doing in the future during an appearance on the Athletic Women's Basketball Show.
Her competitive spirit and selfless play have not only inspired her teammates, but also redefined expectations for what a rookie can achieve in the league. Together with Boston, Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, the Fever have established themselves as a cohesive unit, poised for sustained success.
Kennedy, she's a great player. She was a huge catalyst to what last year's team was able to do and accomplish. And obviously, she's slated to be a free agent.
The contrasting trajectories of the Sky and the Fever highlight the importance of strong leadership and team chemistry in the WNBA. While the Fever have embraced a team-first mentality, the Sky have been plagued by individual ambitions overshadowing collective goals. The Sky's fractured foundation stands in stark opposition to the Fever's culture of unity, serving as a reminder that talent alone is not enough to build a winning team.
Focus thus far has been on players who we know are under contract this coming year, and that's where the communication has been.
For the Sky, the road to redemption is steep, but not insurmountable. Marsh's appointment provides a chance for a fresh start, but success will depend on whether the organization can learn from its mistakes. Rebuilding trust among players, fostering accountability, and letting go of the egos that have caused so much discord will be critical steps in the process.
Help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever...
The departure of Weatherspoon and the potential loss of key players like Carter underscore the urgency of addressing these issues head-on. Meanwhile, the Fever continue to set the standard for what a successful WNBA franchise can look like.
Notice her social media posts, but she's very me, always. Me.
Their rise from mediocrity to contention is a testament to the power of clear vision and effective leadership. By prioritizing the greater good over individual drama, the Fever have created a model that other teams, including the Sky, would do well to emulate. As the WNBA grows in talent and visibility, the stories of the Sky and the Fever offer valuable lessons for the league.
Versus, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
For the Sky, redemption is not just about adding a star player or implementing a new strategy, it's about rebuilding their identity from the inside out. For the Fever, the challenge will be maintaining their momentum and continuing to build on their successes. The league, its fans, and its players are watching closely. The choices made by these two franchises in the coming years will not only shape their own futures, but also influence the broader trajectory of women's basketball. The Sky's struggles and the Fever's rise are two sides of the same coin, offering a compelling narrative of triumph and tragedy within the WNBA. For the Chicago Sky, the question remains, can they rise from the ashes and reclaim their former glory? Or will they continue to spiral further into irrelevance? For the Indiana Fever, the Sky truly is the limit. Their journey serves as a powerful reminder that with the right leadership and a commitment to unity, greatness is always within reach.